Hey class, so we are starting chapter 1.4 and 1.5. If you turn to page 2 in your ICANS, you have two spaces, and your spaces are for these two ICANS, and they are I can multiply and divide integers, and then the other one is I can multiply and divide integers in real world problems. Pause the video now and make sure you can get that in. Once you are done, we are on page 9. Okay, on page 9, you will see that our topic is multiply and divide integers. Our essential question is, what do you know about the signs of two integers whose product or quotient is positive, negative, or 0? Okay, so let's go on to this. We've got a section where we need to write in some missing words. So if, and it doesn't matter if this is for multiplication or division, this is the same rule. If the signs are the same, your answer is always going to be positive. If the signs are different, then the answer will be negative. So I like to use this triangle to help me with this. So if I have a positive times a positive, that's the times tables you've been doing your entire school career. 3 times 3 is 9, okay? But what if I had negative 3 times negative 9? So I have negative times a negative gives me a positive, okay? But if I had, say, negative 4 times positive 3, that gives me 12. But is the answer positive or negative? Well, negative 4 times positive 3, well, I use these two, so then my other answer has to be negative, okay? Multiply and divide like normal. You don't change anything about the numbers, you're just worrying about the signs, okay? So we need to make sure we get those in our notes. Pause the video and make sure you get all of these words. All right, so now, exponents. An exponent tells you how many times to multiply the given number by itself. And then it's very important to worry about where the parentheses are. Parentheses are very important. Okay? So why is this important? Well, first off, we've got to talk about what an exponent means. Okay, up here it says an exponent. So if I had 2 to the exponent of 3, or 2 to the third, that means 2 times 2 times 2. I get to write 2 3 different times. So here's 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Okay? So parentheses are very important. So let's talk about why that's the case. So what is the difference between the first one and the second one? Well, I see the first one has the parentheses, okay? So it's telling us I get to write everything in that parentheses 2 times, okay? So I get to write everything in the parentheses 2 times. Well, negative 5 times negative 5. Well, two negatives, they have the same sign. Same sign means a positive answer. Okay, I can get behind that. So I know 5 times 5 is 25. Okay? Well, what about this guy down here? It says negative 5 squared, or to the second power. So I get to write the 5 twice, okay? So I get to write that 5 twice. However, the negative out front only gets to be written on the first one. So now I have a positive, this guy over here is positive, and I have a times a negative. A negative times a positive gives me a negative. And then 5 times 5 is still 25. But now, look at this. The first time with the parentheses, I ended up with a a positive answer here. But when I had no parentheses, I ended up with a negative answer. So it's very important to pay attention to what the parentheses are telling you. Let's try a couple from our page 9. So here are the first 4 examples. Well, we've already done number 1 is 5 times 5. Well, we know those are the same signs, so it's going to be positive. 5 times 5 is 25. All right, next one is negative 4 times 11. Well, I have a negative times a positive, so my solution is going to be negative. And then I'm going to do 4 times 11 like normal. That gives me 44. So my answer is negative 44. Whoa. Let's look at number 3. I don't have any adding signs, multiplying signs, dividing signs, nothing. But what I do have is this number 1 on the outside of parentheses. So whenever you see this, you need to start thinking of that as multiplication. So this really says 1 times negative 9. Okay, well 1 times parentheses negative 9. Well, I see that they have different signs, so my solution is going to be different. So it's going to be a negative answer. Well, 1 times 9 still gives me 9. Well, think about number 4 then. Again, we don't have any symbols saying multiplying or dividing, so we know we're going to be putting in our multiplication symbol down here between the 2 parentheses. So I'm just going to sneak that guy in. Okay? So now I have negative 7 times negative 8. They are the same sign, so I know my answer is going to be positive. Again, we don't always write our positive sign, but I'm doing it today for you guys. So 7 times 8. If you don't know that, you use your calculator. So that gives me 56. Okay. We have more examples on this next page. I'm just going to talk briefly about